Peace. Damn. Happy now. Now's the vibrate, of course. We're not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. Right now. I want to talk about the what does the intuitive voice sounds like, you know? I want to give a description of what the intuitive voice sounds like from my perspective, in essence, you know what I'm saying? And it's basically a description, it's almost like of poetic value in essence when I think of it. But basically, it's that voice, that is extremely low and small. It's like when it comes to dealing with things, and that's the thing too. That's why everything is so much about emotion and feeling first and foremost, as far as like, to be guided by your spirit, it's like that emotion, that feeling, that energy and motion. But, you know, also you got your spirit guides, but that's why the voice is low in essence, because, it's not so much as a voice as much as a vibration. Now, for different strokes for different folks on, with a lot of things, because some of us have different abilities, like, being clairaudient or whatever the case may be, where, they hear those voices a little clearer than most. But the voice of intuition is going to be, one of the smallest, lowest voices. Matter of fact, there's a voice, and because I wrote down there's a voice that has like a low, small loudness to it. You know what I'm saying? So even though it's low and small, it does still have a certain type of loudness to it. It's like that voice that quietly tells you no. You know what I'm saying? Like exclaiming like no, but it just sounds like, like a small voice. Another description, like it's let's see, it's how small it is that makes it so loud and big. I repeat, it's how small that it is that really makes it so loud and big. Again, that's like, a contradictory sounding statement, but again, it's so small. Think about that. It's so small that it becomes very evident, you know, the magnitude or the degree of, how it should be followed, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's where I get that description. Because also my last one kind of is derived from like, like the elephant in the room type of thing, you know what I'm saying? But it's like an elephant trying to crawl across the floor in a mobile home, you know what I'm saying? Like it's big and obvious, but yet it's trying to, it's moving very, very quietly, you know. That's the thing. Like just now I was writing in my journal, and basically as I'm writing I caught like a flashback of a DMT trip. And then all of a sudden I kind of caught like, and that's the thing too, because you're not really conjuring up these thoughts, But I had a little thought come in that said like, hey, we could help you to remember. Because I was thinking about that other day, like, I need to talk more on some of my trips, but, need to look at my tablets, kind of like on the butterfly effect, like look at my tablets and remember, like at the journal stuff and kind of remember, all the experiences. But basically they were like, we'll help you to remember all these things so you can recall them and, share with people. And that voice is always like, again, it wasn't like no super loud, like how your thoughts is like, I wonder, uh, no, those shoes don't look, all those things that you conjure up. And that's the thing too. If you're building up something in your head, you could tell, like, say, for instance, when you're receiving a thought, is exactly that. You're receiving a thought. You know what I'm saying? So basically, it's a thought that's just coming in like out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like basically, you could be sitting down watching YouTube, doing whatever, and all of a sudden a thought hits you on how to make an ink pen that's spill proof or something. You know what I'm saying? Like those, those are, the thoughts that we're supposed to receive and that we are blocking by, not being in meditative states and clearing our mind. You know what I'm saying? That's why the innovative people, the people who really, invent things like the Nikola Teslas, things of this nature, George Washington Carver, is like their mind is cleared and got all that junk so they could communicate and receive these thoughts, you know what I'm saying? But the voice of intuition, the voice of your spirit guides, higher self, all, it's basically like, it's gonna be a very, very subtle voice, you know what I'm saying? And in some cases, because this is the thing too, if you if you haven't been practicing self-realization, or if you're at the beginning stages of it, that voice also is gonna, it may say something that you may not agree with in essence, and when I say that, like, because you're so used to ignoring that voice and following your ego, that little small voice, when you hear it, is gonna say something that's about growth and change. And your ego gonna be like, ooh, like growth, change, you know, go do this without analyzing it 20 times before I do it. What? Like, nah, I can't just go with the flow like that. I gotta analyze. You know what I'm saying? Like it's you could become, a little spooked by the voice, or it'll spook you in essence if you're early on your growth, or like I say, at the beginning stages of self-realization, or haven't dealt with it at all yet. It's gonna be like, because that's that inner spirit, that inner soul that knows what's best for us. Think about when we was growing up and the voice of that our parents or elders, telling us what's best for us, and stop jumping on that sofa before you bust your head. And even though, like, hey, jumping on that sofa fun, like, like, man, but like, but there is a point that, if you do jump and mess around, you could bust your head, So sometimes, growing up could take away the quote unquote fun in essence, and not really, because you could still, that's the illusion, you know what I'm saying? Because we could, as we grow, matter of fact, we actually have more fun the more we could grow and manifest things easier, than really the more fun we'll have. That's just an illusion. The ego just giving you the illusion of like, oh no, man, that's uncomfortable. That ain't fun. That ain't, just like with me with the master of ceremonies thing with my old story, like, like, ah, that ain't, I don't want to do that, but it was best, it was best for me, you know. But it's gonna be a quiet, quiet voice, so small that it's loud, you know. And like really though, like analyze that, because all the loud voices is just, it's almost like when you realize or feel somebody energy amongst a crowd of people. That would be one of the same analogies where you got all these people, maybe of lower vibrations or mixed, whatever, whatever, but they got this one person, where you just could feel them, and you kind of just felt them and spotted them out of all that chaos, you know, and all that chaos being all them thoughts that may be, that you may be conjuring up in your head, because honestly, whenever you're clearing your brain, the only thing that's gonna come through is them thoughts from your inner self. That's another thing too, you know. Like that's why I treat my meditation so important, because the guidance system is just so, is just so on point. You know, only time things go astray is when, of course, and that's the only reason why things go astray, is because you're in your ego. If things ain't where it's supposed to be, is because at some point you got into, your ego, and you manifested some mud on your tracks. You know what I'm saying? And it come back around. You gotta deal with it and keep it moving. That's basically it. I don't want to go too much. And matter of fact, because I had another experience. Matter of fact, and I in on that note too. Like I was in the library yesterday, and I'm sitting in there, and at first it hit me with the overwhelming feeling like, and I wanted to work, and there's a thing too, my ego, and feeling like, oh man, I gotta, and then being a Capricorn, like I gotta do some work and, finish this, do this, you know, and it's like, nah, that's your second purpose. Your first purpose is to be, you know what I'm saying? Which I call this realization second, but I'm sitting in the library, and so I'm like, just feeling uneasy. And when this happened any other time, like, all right, maybe I just need to go outside. And as I went outside, and then, I came, I'm like, I'm gonna sit in the grass, and then I heard little voices like, we told you, like, we was trying to get you to come outside. Like I could feel the vibe of the fairies telling me, like, man, we were trying to get you out of there. And like that cause I'm on the fourth floor in the library, so they're not really dealing with that concrete in that building or whatever. So that was the uneasiness in essence, like trying to contact me from outside. Like, man, come outside, man. Be what you truly are first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? You're not meant to be blogging and doing YouTube videos all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like none of like all of us that's like what we because yes, we doing what we love to make money, but even still like at some point we find ourselves kind of going a little extra in essence to make sure, some type of revenue coming. But it's like, nah, like it's gonna come like be first, and let it come to you, you know, first and foremost. But little fairy sent me that little message, talk to me when I got outside, and you could just tell because it'll be the type of stuff in context that you could in context that you would kind of tell that you wouldn't conjure up and think of yourself in essence. It's like just bam, like you told you come outside. It's like, why would I tell myself that? Like just all of a sudden I'm walking outside and I just pop up with the thought, we told you come outside. Like, what are that? So two is like really, also making sense of it in that essence, you know what I'm saying? But again, the voice is so low and so small that is actually loud and large, because of its smallness, you know, oxymoronic, you know. I was trying to think of that word earlier. I was like an elephant trying to crawl across the floor in a mobile home, you know, which if it could fit in a mobile home like a little baby elephant, like a nice size, where's there. And it's being quiet, it's creeping, but it's so obvious that it's crawling across the floor. That's the thing. But peace. Happy now. Now's the vibrate, of course. Staying in the moment, in the timeless now. We're not going too far in the future. We're not going too far in the past. Right now, peace.